happy to see. I think I'm dying here, man.
Through the haunted mansions and floors, the creek, they lead us to the places from which we dare not peek. A journey through fear and the realm of the night. In every word they speak, our hearts ignite with fright. Welcome to the horror show, the Deep Cut Podcast, where nightmares come alive, ready to take their blow. Tune in to the chilling delight on the airwaves of the night. Let the darkness grow. Let the darkness grow.
Aw, yeah! It's that time again for another bi-weekly podcast with your hosts, Rotten Roger DeMarco and...
Trust me, Evil Dead Inks is good, Evil Dead Inks is wise.
This is true. This I know. Here we are, another 2 weeks down, chilling in the cabin. Fittingly, we did have a bit of a spot of bothersome weather earlier, which we didn't even notice, really, because we were tucked away safely in the confines of the cabin. Even with the broken window, no rain got in here. So
Luckily, it's all going downwind.
yes, it's over there. It's not our problem.
It's all the way over there. But it is our fifth installment, our second to last of Packs to the Max.
Maximum carnage.
Yep. So when we last left Bill Paxton in a movie we were covering, it was True Lies, and he was an absolute gem, but a real cowardly bastard.
Sniveling scumbag.
So fast forward 2 years, and not only has he totally redeemed himself,
Oh, yeah.
but Bill Paxton is now known as Bill the Extreme Weatherman. It's time for Twister.
Indeed it is. Now, this is a movie that I feel like is one of the heavy hitters as far as, like, natural disaster movies. This movie, even back in the day, like, if you had family that wasn't necessarily, like, a home video family, like, oh, they don't buy movies, they don't watch movies, like, I feel like your grandparents, right? Like, your grandparents were buying, like, Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
They were buying Twister. They were buying Independence Day. Like, those were movies that it seemed like you couldn't escape. Everyone...
Summer blockbusters.
Yeah, for sure. And Twister really kind of hits home for us because we are Midwestern folk. We kind of live in that tornado alley.
Yep.
So.
We don't deal with hurricanes. We don't deal with really like volcanic activity.
No, that'd be some shit.
Yeah. It's just pretty much a tornado zone. So
Yeah.
that's what we deal with. And I feel Twister is, for natural disasters, it's the Blair Witch Project. Like, every movie is chasing
The rabbit.
its success.
Yeah, because this rabbit is good. This rabbit is wise.
It is, and every disaster movie is trying to get even halfway to the appeal and box office mainstream just juggernaut that this movie is, and will forever be.
Yeah. Often imitated, never duplicated.
Nope, not even with Twisters.
Which I was going to bring up because you did go see that, yes?
I did go see that.
In, like, the best way possible, correct?
Yes. My local theater has an option for 4D experiences. Certain movies, I feel it's only warranted to see a 4D. Like, I'm not going to go see just any old movie, but something like we went and saw Godzilla 4D.
Yeah.
Very warranted. Twisters, I was like, this is 100% a 4D caliber movie.
Yeah, wind, scents, mist.
Yeah. Everything. I can't imagine trying to eat popcorn or drink a soda.
Like Alice in Nightmare 4, just like
Kind of. I was surprised I had someone to the left of me that actually had popcorn and shit, and I was super surprised I left there not being covered in it. 'Cause I was like, how do you find time in a seat that is always moving to be able
Snack.
to snack on anything?
yeah, it just gives you the Heimlich maneuver for you if you start choking. Like
It's definitely it made that experience a lot better. I probably would have a slightly lesser opinion of Twisters if I didn't see it in that kind of environment, but seeing it that way was cool. Plus,
it's
it was
the selling point for sure.
Yeah. Plus, it was a whole full circle weird moment for me because my mom took me to see Twister back in 1996 in the theater. So here I am, a whole almost lifetime later. I'm taking my kid of almost the same age to go see Twisters.
Whoa. That's heavy, Doc.
Yeah.
If you will. I don't know how it stacks up because you and I have talked briefly about Twisters, which I will pick up on Blu-ray and give it a shot. But Twister, as far as I'm concerned, like I said, the driving force, one of the greatest natural disaster movies. And it aged very well. We watched it. Obviously, watched it in preparation for PAX to the Max, but like, it's a movie that around every summer, you know, once you're starting to get that, like, especially if a storm is coming and you get the greenage, like you get the hail color in the sky.
Yep.
Toss this on and kind of live in it, and so you can get your own real 4D experience because you got an actual storm that may cut the power at any moment, kind of a deal, and still looks good. There's a few questionable things here and there, but like.
A few, but I know they took a long time to get the actual tornado like footage to look as good as humanly possible.
Yeah,
and I know that
for
was
the mid '90s.
And that was the original. Like it was like a selling point. Like they almost like Friday the 13th. Like they had a title and they're like, let's just put that out there. The scariest movie ever made. They just made up footage of like that. First person perspective through a windshield to like that like farm equipment falling in front of the camera, in front of a like truck vehicle camera shot. That was it. They were like, that's going to be the movie, and that was their selling pitch for getting coin and everything put together for the making of the movie.
Oh, I did not know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, and something that I do not think would have worked at all, who was originally going to be playing the character of Bill the Weatherman.
I don't know.
Take the most wild guess of like who is the most not the extreme actor, A-list actor. Think the most A-list actor
Of the 90s?
A-list actor, almost period.
Bruce Willis?
Not too far off. Tom Hanks.
You know, that sounds weird, but I'd watch it, I think. But I don't think he's so wholesome, though. That's the issue. Like Bill Paxton, we've covered for 5 weeks or 5 episodes now, has a range of like scum fuckery to like awesomeness.
Tom Hanks 80s could potentially do that, but Tom Hanks from like Sleepless in Seattle on would never be standing naked in front of a Twister drinking a bottle of Jack Daniels. Bill Paxton can, but it was his recommendation because it was up for Tom Hanks, and he's like, I don't think this is really the project for me. He had just apparently got done with Apollo 13.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
and he's like, I think Mr. Paxton might be a more fitting slot for this movie.
Yeah, because he was in Apollo 13. So.
Yep. So then Bill Paxton got the call. He joined the cast.
Kevin Bacon wouldn't have been bad.
Yeah. But man, I have a hard time really going with anybody except Bill Paxton in this. And you can see on YouTube somebody put up some like BTS of the sequence where the house is rolling into the street.
With him walking around in it, and he's having a ball.
Just running around these fucked up stairs, just smiling and laughing, like, that's Bill Paxton. That's what we miss. That's what we don't have anymore. And I can't imagine it being anybody but him.
Let me ask you this, because I don't know, and you might have told me this before, but just to get back on the
I tried reading the novelization of this when I was a kid.
But just to get on the Twisters train again real quick.
Yeah.
is it like, do we have any like Helen Hunt's my mom or Bill Paxton was my dad, or do we have any kind of tie like that to kind of be like it's a legacy sequel just enough, or no, or do you remember at all?
It's weird.
Okay.
Because they open with the lead girl. They don't never say that she's the product of the two from
Helen
Twister.
Hunt and,
They literally have a Dorothy 4. The only one that survives this movie is the Dorothy they start with in that movie.
Okay.
And then you're thinking she has to be the kid. They never say anything. And of course, Paxton is long gone by the time Twisters comes out. So
bummer.
There is a point where she does go to visit her mom. And I'm like, okay, here it is. Helen Hunt has to...
Cameo,
It's here. It's not her at all. And they do not even allude that she is supposed to be Helen Hunt's character.
Okay.
So in that aspect, I'm like, so it's standing on its own. It's its own movie, but it's got those weird, like the Dorothy 4 thing, and very much she's doing the same shit in that movie that Paxton is doing here. Like she's like how he's got the dirt in his hand and kind of got a good natural feel for things. So everything they say it without saying it. They're like, yeah, she's got the gift.
Okay.
She's got the Paxton gift, but she's not.
That's weird.
It is. That's why I was like, I don't know how to explain it to you because it's not a legacy sequel. It's not. It's a weird. I don't know what it is.
Well, okay, so now switching back to just Twister. Let me ask you this, because I know for my family and like my wife and my wife's family, this movie had like a profound effect. You know how like you see something and then you get influenced by it. We saw Jurassic Park and then all of a sudden all of us as kids were like, you know what, dinosaurs are rad.
Yes.
Did people in your family or you by chance, when you saw this movie, were you bit by like the weather bug? Were you like, did you become like interested in like, I know my wife does like storm chasing classes. So like looking up at clouds, like identifying what types of clouds, and like, did anyone in your family like, you know what, that's actually kind of rad, or was it just kind of like it's just a good movie?
Oddly enough, I predate the movie Twister. When I was in grade school, they're like, what job would you like to have? And I put down like a storm chaser.
Nice.
So I was actually interested in doing that.
You were the extreme.
Before I went to go see the movie. Yeah, I thought
the extreme.
Yeah, I thought science and weather was an interesting topic.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is.
So I was bit by the bug long before I saw the actual movie.
Nice.
I did, of course, and this is totally a product of the time. I mean, they still kind of do it today with like really shitty B horror movies, but I did go to Blockbuster after seeing it, and of course they did have like a 2 VHS pack of, and they say right on it, Twisters, and have a very similar style like artwork to the movie, and the game they're trying to play, like hoping people confuse it for the movie, but it's just 2 VHS tapes full of
tornado footage.
Yeah, tornado footage. I knew what it was, and I was like, I still want to get it, and I ended up for years. I had it. One of the few VHSs I still wish I had in my collection. It might be. I just don't know where it is exactly. But yeah, I was enough still interested in it that I was like, I want to get me a two tape set of just tornado footage.
Nice. Yeah, now you can just go on YouTube and just look at all kinds of amateur.
You can do that's all day.
Yeah. Man, I will say,
were you bit by the bug?
I wasn't necessarily bit by the bug, but you know how there's like ignorance is bliss, right? When you're a kid, things like death and mainly things like death and natural disasters and stuff like that. It all seems to like, it's always present, but like you as a kid, you as a kid, you have no real concept of like, well, we don't get to live forever, and we don't, like bad things happen all the time.
I always heard that's the moment childhood innocence is lost when you realize someday you'll die.
Yep,
that's the exact moment.
And I think Twister more so put in perspective for me, rather than all the horror movies with all the monsters and whatever, because I was always a horror kid, but I feel like Twister was one of those movies that made me realize, like, oh man, like whenever we hear those sirens, because we live in a small town, we have it, and everyone,
Yeah.
it would be like at school, tornado, so everyone go in the hallway and cover up with a book in the hallway, like that's supposed
Yeah.
to save your life, and you just don't even question it. You're like, oh, it's a storm and the siren's going off, cover up, and the movie put it in perspective that like one of those will literally eat your house. It'll eat a town. So it kind of put like a different type of fear into me. So it made me respect weather a little bit more, I think.
I still we once a month, like every first Wednesday of the month, they do like the storm siren testing.
Yep,
in
us
the
too.
neighborhood, and every time, even though I know it's coming, it's still like a half second of like a stomach drop
Yep.
moment of like what is this?
Yep, to the basement. I've got the Jackery charged, which you and I are both, since we are in this Midwest area where these types of storms happen. Both
And
of
in
us,
our 40s.
yeah, both of us have picked up, electric
generators.
generators just in case for such a.
That's
an
$100
occasion.
well spent.
I'm telling you, you and I've both had crazy power outages go for more than a day. So,
Nothing due to weather, oddly enough, on my end, but
mine
it
was,
happened.
but yeah, it does happen.
Yeah.
So
But back into this movie, this starts, of course, it's kind of split between its Bill Paxton story and its Helen Hunt story, which they're a couple that's on the outs of being divorced. She has not signed all the paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
She's totally got this scheme where she's like, well, I just won't sign this one page. I'll make him bring his new woman out to sign this out in the field, and I'm going to totally blindside him with his unrealized idea of this project that he tried to get off the ground, that she has got off the ground, called Dorothy, which is supposed to be like all these little ball sensors that they throw up into a tornado to learn the ins and outs of it,
Yeah,
to create a warning system that goes from 5 minutes to 15 minutes.
give people way more time to prepare.
Yeah. Apparently it's such a gigantic film that they had, like, I don't know if it was at Universal Studios or where, but they had like a whole like Twister like experience you could sit through where Helen Hunt and Bill Paxton were like talking heads during it.
Oh, nice.
And you would see one of those things like Beverly Hills Cop 3 where they're like, you're seeing like a little bit of tornado activity and like a faux street and like power outage like blowing up.
Oh, like
things.
a ride, yeah.
Yeah, a Twister ride, yeah.
That would be amazing.
You can watch it on YouTube. There are some people that put the footage up on YouTube so you can see the Twister ride and the intercut with them talking about the types of things that happen during these storms.
The finger of God.
Yeah. Is there an F5? Where everyone learned the Vegeta scale. Mm-hmm. But not just, we don't just have Bill Paxton that we don't have no more. We also have another, like, the standout character in this movie.
Oh, man, yeah.
We got
I forgot.
You forgot about Philip Seymour Hoffman.
I forgot about him being gone.
Yeah, the Hoff.
That's a bummer.
Which he's the Dust Man, Dusty.
Yes, he is.
Why are you the way you are?
We also have Sean Whalen, who is still with us.
Yes.
Sean Whalen and what's his name from Bueller. Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
I can't think of his name, but yeah, he's also in Speed. He's the guy that's he's the neurotic guy on the bus in Speed. He's just gonna keep calling me and calling me.
And
his job became so obsolete after this year because he's the map guy. But then once we have GPS,
have
they're like,
Google, yeah.
Well, I guess Rabbit is useless now.
well, unless you can't get signal because you're out in the middle of nowhere. Your 5G ain't working.
Sure.
Pull out the paper map.
You find this road. It's like Bob's Road.
Yes. And then we have, which in the movie, yes, I get it. Like we have the rival
We have the
meteorologists.
It's like every like kids sports movie. Like there's
yeah.
a very sophisticated, well-funded team that's got all the top-notch equipment.
This is Mighty Ducks 2.
Yeah, and then you have the team that's the ragtag, like they're just driving their cars. They don't have corporate vehicles.
Sharing ice skates.
What the? Who the fuck is sponsoring Weather Chasers?
I don't know, but
in
yeah,
1996. I could probably say like Liquid Death or some energy drink, something like that would
to
be
the
sponsoring.
extreme.
Yeah, they would be sponsoring like when you got to be up and chasing the tornado, you need something with some kick.
Mountain Dew Kickstart sponsor us.
Extreme. I'm
Yeah.
Bill the Extreme. When I'm out storm chasing, I drink
Fuck
only the
you.
best.
No. If you don't drink
Mountain Dew Code Red. Fuck you.
fuck you. Those are the deleted scenes we need right there during the credits. Yeah, but yeah, we get
He wouldn't
Carrie
even drink.
Elways.
He wouldn't even drink energy drinks.
He's like black coffee kind of guy.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was like. He would be doing a straight up Folgers ad.
Yep, straight black coffee because he's getting up early.
Like he's like deflecting energy drinks that people are tossing at him. He's like, you know what? I don't need this shit. Give me the straight Folgers
And a steak. Yeah.
Now, I have heard some people talk about this movie, and they are unappetized by the break sequence we have in this movie where they stop for one of my favorite meals in life, steak and eggs with mashed potatoes and gravy.
Yeah.
Some folks I have heard that like those look horrible. The sound of those like steaks hitting the plate, or just like some of the combination with the mashed potatoes, gravy, and eggs. And I do not understand it in the slightest. It is the most mouth-watering meal.
Listen, we've talked for months about how I'm gonna cook you a tomahawk steak.
Yeah.
But they're really, really expensive. So become a Patreon, whatever, so I can cook this man a tomahawk steak in the cabin.
It's the most frugalist spending we may ever do
We'll
with
film,
patron money.
We'll film something.
We'll film it, yeah.
But this man
God,
needs.
Rod, you got a lot of beef. Where'd
Yeah.
you get all this beef?
Right
See
out
my
back.
patrons out front?
Yeah, right out back. or
No.
whatever.
Oh!
But no, steak and eggs is a mainstay, especially Midwest. It's a Midwest thing. 3 over easy eggs, a steak. I'm not a mashed potato and gravy kind of guy. I genuinely have a disdain for potatoes, to be honest. Like
I'm Irish. Give me all that shit.
Yeah, you indeed are. Like I just
Gimme.
I will eat potatoes if my hand is forced, but I don't I don't seek potatoes. Never am I like, you know what? Potato today. But that's just me. But a steak and eggs, that's like a breakfast. A big old fucking big fat daddy slab of meat and a couple of eggs. Let's go.
That's just a meal. I will not define that or restrict it to any time of day.
Yeah, it's just, it's a good way to start the day, though, for sure.
Start the day, midway through the day, in the day, whatever it is you got. Mm-hmm. I'll take it.
Yeah, so I don't know who out there is like, steak and eggs. That's like, is it the sound design, you think? Is that what you're saying? Like the...
Yeah,
the
like
meat
how
hitting-
the meat hits the plate when they're like, when Melissa's just sitting at the table and they're just setting her up with this excessively gnarly plate of food. Yeah, she has the look of like, I'm in the Paxton category where he's just like, oh, I want that.
Yeah, I love you. Yes. Anyone who heaps a plate like that for me, I will marry you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just hook it up. Like that's love right there.
Yeah, and speaking of love, we have Bill Paxton's new lady friend that he's going to be marrying, a reproductive on-call therapist named Melissa, who has no idea what storm chasing really is.
It's kind of weird, but
she thought it was a metaphor, and
I always thought that was a metaphor.
she reacts how she's supposed to almost be like the Ernie Hudson role to a degree of like when they need to explain all the tornado jargon. We're the ones that we're living through her on that. So explain what is a tornado? What did they do? How much do they destroy? Why is Billy called the Extreme? Mm-hmm. Because he has a story about rolling up to a tornado nude with a bottle of Jack.
Because he fears nothing. But
He gets in Carrie Elways' face.
yeah,
And the most it's on par with like the slap across the face insult. He just rolls up on Carrie and flips his hat off. And it's like, what a wiener.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a... It's just such a... Yeah, just a power move.
Yeah.
He pulls on him because Carrie always essentially steals the design for Dorothy.
Yeah.
But he's got these little square, like, lament configurations he's trying to do the exact same thing with. And Paxton sees that, calls him on it, and he's like, you stole my fucking design, piece of shit. And he's like, you didn't get this shit put together in time. I did, so dibs.
Yeah, which, I mean, he's not wrong, really. Like, how many more innovative ways are there to get something up inside of a tornado? And if you hear about that, if, like, we were a group of people and we heard, like, these guys are trying to get this thing off the ground, and we're like, well, they can't get it, they don't have the money. Like, we have enough money to do that. And then we did it. Like, are we assholes, or are we just you're helping the exact same cause? Who cares whose name's attached to it if it's saving people's... Yeah.
Funding.
But if it's saving people's lives, giving them 10 to 15 extra minutes or whatever, it doesn't matter if it's your name or Joe's name. Like, as long as people are alive. But I guess, like...
Well, and there's our difference in the movie is Carrie Elwes' character is driven by the profitable gain of it, and
the marketability, I suppose.
Bill and Joe are like, he will not be able to do this unless he weighs the pack down. So they come to that conclusion during the final battle with the giant F5 is, hey, you need to weigh that shit down, otherwise it's not going to take off.
Yeah.
And he's totally like, all right, whatever, science, bitch.
I do want to bring up a couple of things, but number one being, as a kid, I never really questioned or had a problem with the love triangle situation. The older I get, even as much as I want Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt to get together, the older I get, the more I feel bad for the destruction of this blossoming relationship. You know what I mean? Like, I feel bad for that. Like, they had time together. They had, he's separated from Helen Hunt. It's not like a rebound. Like, he didn't just jump right into a relationship. He's ushered in. They're in the feeling out process. It's becoming a thing. And then he's like, I think I just want to go back with my old lady. Like,
he stupidly does not know Helen Hunt's playing the long game on him.
Yeah.
She realizes it and realizes he's not smart enough to realize it.
With a name like The Extreme, you'd think he'd be a genius. No.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like a guy that rushes into anything without thinking about it.
Yeah.
Well thought out process plan guy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's all stuff you noticed years later, and I know we are definitely not the first ones to notice that. Yeah, she's the bigger person in that moment at the drive-in, where she's like, look, she still wants you. She needs you. You clearly need her. I'm gonna go home.
Yes.
And clearly turns to start just weeping that she's just like, well, this was not on my bingo card for this weekend. And then I never thought of this either, but another podcast that I've heard cover this pointed out of, like, there's like a few things that anchor Bill Paxton to a new life. He has a new woman. Mm-hmm. He has a new job.
Yes.
And he has a new truck.
Mm-hmm.
And all three things he has to give up to go back to his old life. The woman leaves, he gets his old woman back. He sacrifices his truck for the scientific discovery. And now that he has a scientific discovery, he's not going to go be a weatherman. He's going to be running the labs and doing all these tests with this new advanced warning system.
True. Going back to the truck.
His truck or Joe's truck? Joe's truck looks like something that's straight up like something you would crash in a burnout game.
No, definitely Pax to the Max truck.
His bright red truck.
If this movie taught me anything, this movie taught me that the Dodge Ram...
Oh, that was intentional.
Yes. Now, we have seen many a product placement label out in movies this sort of sneaky, let's stand in front of a billboard, let's do this, let's do that.
Boy, I could sure go for a Pepsi.
Yeah, it's like people only do things for money, and that's like really sad. As I take a sip of my liquid death, that they should respond to my email.
Slaughters your thirst, doesn't it?
And it's, it's guilt-free because it's just water.
Chill out, man. It's just water.
Yeah, bro. But this is egregious. I mean, it literally, as much as I love Twister, and I will fight tooth and nail to the death on this being one of the greatest natural disaster movies of all time, one of the best movies in general. It's fun as fuck. It's a 90-minute Dodge Ram commercial. The Dodge Ram is so strong, the tornado won't pick it up. The Dodge Ram is so strong, it can drive through houses. Nothing stops this truck until it's time to be sacrificed.
Yeah.
All
by design.
Yeah. It is invincible. It's a Mad Max level, armored car of death. And in 1994, 95, whatever era in the Midwest, every goddamn redneck dad in my area had them a big old Dodge Ram. Not the half-size, one of them big full-size. Either the Dodge Ram Red or the Dodge Ram Blue that was like...
$70 gas tanks.
Dodge Viper Blue.
Even in 1996.
Yeah, oh yeah. And, I mean, I'm not a truck guy, but it was swaying me. You know what I mean? Maybe that thing is pretty sweet. Half-ton tow capacity or whatever the fuck, I don't know, but...
And I know that they had to deal with a lot of issues, like really slow production days filming. Like you're talking about that truck, and I'm just thinking about when they're setting up the one Dorothy in the back of the truck, and they're just driving into just a hailstorm.
Yes.
And I always wondered if when Bill Paxton whacks his noggin on the back of the truck when she slams on the brakes, that was supposed to happen or not.
But probably not.
I don't know. I do know later on at the vet when they jump out of the car in the cornfield, that is where Helen Hunt actually got a concussion. Because when they open the doors and those corn stalks are pushing the door back, it hit her in the head, concussed her. So they had to find a way to wedge the doors.
A corn stalk gave you a concussion?
Well, I mean, driving full force into a field of them.
Yeah,
and,
I guess that would do it. I was gonna say you got a soft ass Hollywood head.
Battling against all this brush hitting against the car. Yeah, wouldn't be easy.
That makes more sense. I was just thinking just got thumped on the head, but no, yeah.
Yeah, go back and watch when they open the doors and they're getting ready to jump out. Watch her don't get hit right in the head.
I just had a weird realization. Has nothing to do with this movie, so it's gonna be a quick sidebar. You know how I told you that my son and we recently watched Silence of the Lambs, and then I said we're gonna be watching Hannibal soon, and Julianne Moore takes over the role of Clarice Starling in Hannibal. I kind of just had this flash in my brain that Helen Hunt would not have been a bad Clarice Starling. Sure. Give her some red hair. I don't know why. I was like, she kind of looks similar, especially around that era.
I don't know why all of a sudden she did this movie and then I didn't really see much.
She was on that TV show, right? Was that Mad About You?
Yeah, she was Mad About You with another star we talked previously about in the Pax of the Max series, Paul Reiser. That son of a bitch. But, I've seen more Paul Reiser than I have of Helen Hunt in feature films.
That's true.
After this, so
she might have ventured into some rom-coms that are not in our wheelhouse, but
I don't know. I really wish she would have.
Yeah, she's a good leading lady.
Yeah, she does great in this movie. I don't know why there wasn't more for her to do.
She has a very sympathetic arc in this movie too. She's very good at she just wants to get the data so bad, and then it's crazy that Bill Paxton, who is the extreme air quotes, has to rein her in, give it up, Joe, it's over, hold on, Joe, or whatever, and they're yelling at each other in the rain.
That's the most there's the most egregious advertisement for this fucking car in the whole movie is they have a CB in the truck. They are 40 feet outside of the truck arguing during a thunderstorm.
Yeah.
And Melissa can hear clear as day on the radio him just being like, I'm right in front of you, Joe. Me, Joe.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about,
I
Joe.
love you, Joe. I don't give a fuck about Melissa anymore.
With her big, poofy 90s hair.
She can answer all her reproductive bullshit questions with her clients all day. I don't care. I want you.
What if Melfi played her?
She did not marry your penis. Okay, she didn't marry only your penis.
God damn it. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I'm sorry, Melfi. I'm not giving up for Helen Hunt.
No.
Sign this right now. Even if I got to take her keys and throw them in the woods, sign it. I'm leaving. Goodbye.
Yeah, we are Melfi fans. For sure.
I'll be riding home with my lady here. You have fun playing in the thunderstorms.
Playing in the rain.
Yeah, I'll be singing in it. You go work in it. I'll enjoy being a weatherman.
Yes.
Which, man, they make that sound so...
Weatherman?
Yeah, like pussy.
Like, yeah, you mean like being inside? Like in air condition? Like...
Yeah, that's... To a certain age, yeah, that can totally be a dig. Like, baby, you need to go into your AC controlled thing and just guesstimate about the weather every day. And now, yeah, 41, I'm like, I'm going to be a weatherman.
Yeah, like
I don't need to be chasing this shit anymore.
It'll come to us.
Damaging my vehicle to no end.
Yeah, putting miles and miles and miles on it. Like, you know how, like, I'm putting years worth of work on this vehicle.
Yeah,
in the storm season, yeah.
Burning through gas, sleeping in hotels, nowhere near home, not having home, a bed to call my own.
Potentially risking your life.
Yeah, it was like they portray it as, yeah, everyone else is like way the fuck back. Only these two storm chasers are going to advance into the suck zone.
Yeah, like they're getting too close.
Yeah, Philip Seymour Hoffman's character is getting anywhere close. If he ever dies on a storm chasing hunt, something went seriously wrong.
Yeah, they stay pretty fucking far back. That's true.
Excessively far back. And I like how they give Dusty shit when they're loading up initially. Like, come on, Dust, you're always the last one. Like, yeah, he's driving the school bus. He is in the back of the line.
Yeah, it's a gigantic vehicle. This is the vehicle's top speed.
Maxing out at 38 miles an hour.
You don't run faster than this.
Like, that is not built for speed. And yeah, he has TVs and shit in there, and like his own like a Murph-mobile, like instead of licorice, it's a straw drink thing. Like, what's he drink? Hawaiian Punch, probably.
Yeah, or some sort of energy drink, or perhaps Liquid Death, which is right here and delicious, and you should sponsor us.
Slaughter your thirst and stay out of the suck zone.
Yes. Yeah, don't be messing around in the suck zone.
So we've battled a tornado. They battled two tornadoes. They encounter the infamous. I think the Snopes even had to get involved to dispel the rumor that actual tornado hit during a screening of
The Shining.
Twister.
Oh,
in a drive-in for real. No, that's a Jan Dupont. That's the director's name, Jan Dupont. That's a thing he has. He has a big affinity for Kubrick, so he puts Kubrick, like someone watching Kubrick films, in his movies.
Nice. So,
and since it was either the production company or just because he knows him really well, but yeah, that was a favor that he had pulled to, like, they need to be watching The Shining because he's got to put something Kubrick in all of his movies.
I like that. Yeah.
But battling that tornado, they save Aunt Meg from, her house that
collapsing on her. Yeah.
Yeah, that I guess they built it so it would just collapse and like they could like fold it back out.
Put it back up.
Yeah, put it right back up again.
Take two.
And nothing more realistic to me than that 1,000-pound TV held by a single coaxial cable in the wall.
This whole fridge is held up by this tiny little cable. Got a bowl of chocolate pudding in my underpants.
I ain't have no pudding in the fridge, pal.
great.
That's just dandy.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's just dandy. Oh my God, yeah.
And then we get to the F5 tornado, the one that
Massive.
Joe hasn't seen since she was a kid, which I like. She saw like her former self going through Wakita's destruction area of like it looked like her with her parents again.
Yeah,
which it's sad in the opening, but funny to me now that when they go into the storm cellar and Joe's dad is holding the like. Stop trying to hold the door closed.
Why didn't you buy a chain? Like you've had, how long have you had that storm cellar?
Just go to the back of the storm cellar. To me, that's the same thing as the guy that's got the arm outside the car window holding the mattress on the roof.
Yeah, like it's not going to help.
Like you are not holding this door against tornado level winds.
Yeah.
You're not holding the mattress down with my arm. Shut up.
Yeah. Especially the F5, yeah. It's just, it's game over.
Yeah.
You've never seen it miss this house and come straight for you.
Christ, Joe. Is that what you think it did? But, man, the F5 battle is great because we get full, like, combines being thrown into the street.
So that's another thing about the 90s, right, is we're getting into this... Well, now we can era with, I mean, we used to do miniatures and things like that, but now we're getting into this computer era where we're starting to get a little bit more bold with what we're doing. And so everything felt so like anything is possible type of deal. Like you look at Jurassic Park and you got a 38-foot tall T-Rex or whatever, or Independence Day, the fucking White House is getting blown up. And in this, like, full-on massive tornado, eating towns, throwing around farm equipment and things that like...
Jesus, who are these people?
Yeah, just... Yeah, the house or the barn with all the weapons in it. Yeah,
yeah.
This
is Jason's barn.
Fucking Leatherface's house, yeah. It's like a house when all the implements start floating at him. Yeah.
Yeah, that's bonkers, and it all looks great. And yeah, my favorite is of course the house that's rolling across. They drive through. That's just a great. I think we're going in.
Yeah,
and it's great if you freeze frame it. There's like shots where the room is like it's on its side, but as they're driving through, it's like sitting straight up. There's like a chair with like a football poster on the wall, and it's like level, like as it would be if it was upright and just flying through it. That's how good that truck is. Going to just drive all the way through that fucking house, no issues.
Through the 2x4s and everything, like just.
Yep, and the only thing that's going to save these two at the very end is a leather strap.
Belt. Yeah, a fucking belt to a whatever, some pipe out in the middle of the field.
Like these pipes got to be 30 feet down at least. We'll be fine.
Except for if a piece of straw that is flying through the air at 120 miles an hour hits you, it's going through you like a bow and arrow.
They should look like how the dude looked battling the Terminator in his underwear.
Yeah.
With all the glass when they're done.
Yeah,
not to
everything.
mention that they could still hear each other, like
Lies.
Bill Paxton telling Helen, hold on. Yeah.
I was going to let go, thanks. Yeah.
I feel like my equilibrium would just be blown out from the wind alone. Like the pressure would just like, you're deaf now.
Yeah.
You're deaf, you're cut to shreds, your hair is pulled out.
It would be like... I'm
amazed they have clothes on still.
Yeah. It's like diving, right? Like you get the, what do they call it, the bends?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you think you would get the bends from the G-force of the tornado?
Probably.
Something of that nature. But, I mean, we've all...
They get out of that...
So...
Extreme, are you all right?
I'm fucking deaf and blind now forever, yeah.
He doesn't say anything. He just screams.
He's just in constant agony. Now Bill
with the weather.
It's gonna rain. Oh, God damn it. Now, when you were growing up, you kind of lived out in the country.
Yes.
At edge of town or whatever. Tornado ever come close to you?
We had some that what we thought was getting close, but never really did. Oddly enough, when we moved into the city, is about the closest we ever potentially got, and it was an occasion where my wife and stepdaughter were somewhere far enough away they were fine. Mm-hmm. It was just me and me and the youngest, or I think it might have been. I might have had both girls with me, but it was super. They were super young, and I knew it was something that was like potentially going to be going off anytime soon. We're in an apartment.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I heard it go off, and I just always remember, like, if you don't freak out, they don't freak out. So I was like, grab the cats. We're going to just go hang out in the bathroom for a few minutes. And they're like, okay. And they're like, let's just go hang out in here for a few. We're just going to sit and hang out in here for a little bit.
Just make sure it's okay.
And listen. And when it finally stopped, like, all right, we can go out now. I was like, didn't like
run or anything.
No. But it's hilarious because my mom she thinks she's a practical joker because my stepsister she had 2 kids, and anytime weather was getting shaky, they would end up calling my mom and ask about what the weather is like. And she'd always be like, any minute now, one of them kids is going to call me. And like, apparently one of the times they called, she saw who it was, and she just answered, run, 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 run.
That's real good.
Terrible. Funny, but I mean,
that's the perks of being a grandparent is you can fucking,
you can be that terrible, and you're like, oh, grandma.
Yeah. Did you take your medicine?
I can't wait to do that.
Yeah, it's coming.
It's coming, unfortunately.
But I was going to say, like, so you've never had, like, the dangerous winds, and, like, have you never had, like, anything?
We've had some high winds. It literally was, I mean, it couldn't get a whole hell of a lot closer than it did.
Okay.
To us at that day at the apartment. And I know, like, a few years before we moved into the city, one had hit right where we ended up living for a while. And then oddly enough, this past year we had one that kind of came close to where I worked, and I was in a deep freezer in the very middle of the store, well protected, so I was able to just keep working. I was like, it don't matter, shit's gonna happen, I'll be fine in here.
Yeah. I was just curious if you had seen any, like, pieces of straw, like, embedded in, or, like, whole roofs ripped off or anything near you. Because, I mean, that kind of shit happens a lot.
Never seen the roof stuff, but we've definitely driven, like, it's totally also a Midwestern thing once the storm has passed.
Yeah.
Well, let's get in the car and go see the destruction all around town. Yeah, and just see the amount of, like, I know this, in that past year, like, we've seen some hardcore trees get snapped and, like, land on cars. So mostly just tree damage, things like that.
Yeah. I was just curious if, like, anything had ever gotten that close to you. And
no, we had those light brushes, and I'm fine being just that close. Because
it's terrifying. For anyone who doesn't live where this type of thing happens, it's such a cliche. Like, if we're home and a tornado siren goes off, your first instinct is not to run to your basement. Like, is to go outside and
it's a good look.
Yeah, it looks pretty bad, and then you wait until the wind.
Bullshit.
Yeah, I don't see nothing.
Science bitches don't know.
And then, basically staying outside or in the know until, like, the very, 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 very last minute, and then retreating to a basement. But, they're gnarly, though. When they do cut loose, they're gnarly. So I just wanted to ask you about them.
Yeah, it was like our own personal experiences with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, luckily it's been just barely. Although I can't lie, it'd be cool to see one, but I'd like to see one far from home.
Yeah, far, far, far south.
Yeah. I'd like to go, like, on, like, I know they do, like, some bus tours you can actually go on and, like, go on tornado chases, like, from a super safe distance and watch.
I just wouldn't want to do that with strangers, though. Like, I don't want to hang out with you.
True.
Yeah. Like, what if someone's a weirdo and they freak out real bad around storms? Like, I don't want to spend 4 hours in a car with you crying and freaking out. Like,
well, that generally is supposed to be your natural reaction. Melissa's reaction is supposed to be the real reaction of what, like, all you people are crazy.
You are.
Oh, baby. It's time to slip into something a little more comfortable. It's time for the Brown Panty Award.
For that reason, she is going to be my Brown Panty recipient this week, because not only is she put through the fucking ringer that she shouldn't be when she would just rolled with her husband, soon-to-be husband, to get divorce papers signed. She did not sign up for a day's worth of storm chasing and near-death experiences to where she's spun in 360 circles from 2 tornadoes at the same time. That's some wobbly 8 shit. She did not sign up for that, and had enough like smarts, balls, bravery to say, "This is not going to work. The extreme, Bill."
Yeah,
and
I'm out. Peace.
yeah, I'm no longer doing this with you.
Not bad, not bad. Yeah, and I mean, she deserves it just because the love triangle stuff too. So like,
You're still in love with him, aren't you?
yeah,
Just bought 2 big old lemonades and left them on the roof of the car too. That's probably $8 lost.
yeah, you'll never recoup that loss.
Nope, definitely not a therapist.
My Brown Panty Award this week is gonna go to all the patrons of the drive-in because they were fool enough to go out to a movie without checking the weather first and foremost. But
I've been to
Also-
a drive-in when like a storm is hit, but it was just a rainstorm, and oddly enough, it was storming in the movie
whoa,
at the
that's
same
cool.
time. Yeah, it was
Meta, bro.
Yeah, it was Daredevil.
Oh, nice. But they're just trying to get their shining on, and I'm assuming some of them died.
Clearly, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of them.
That's the weirdest part is none of the storm chasers go.
Yeah, none of the good ones. Like,
No.
which is, and I hate to say good ones because like, really, Carrie Elway's team, they're not bad guys. They're just fucking set up to be like bad guys because they're the other team.
Yeah,
or
because
whatever.
they got corporate sponsors and they're using equipment. They have no natural instincts. I'm sorry, Bill Paxton. We are not all the tornado whisperers.
Yeah, well, you spent
Some
all
of
your,
us need the equipment to get by.
Yeah, you spent all your money on a Dodge Ram, not equipment. You fucked up.
Sorry, we don't have your magic powers of
I shake
with
some
dust
dirt.
and,
Yeah.
like, look at the updraft, the angle. It's a sidewinder. Like,
Make you, yeah, I don't know what that is, but he can talk with wind and dirt. Apparently, he's a wind talker, or is that Nicolas Cage?
yeah, and it's like, yeah, he doesn't have those powers. He has to invest in equipment to do it because you're not on his team, Bill Paxton. If everybody could, they wouldn't need the equipment.
When he wanted Bill Paxton on his team, correct? Like that's kind of the deal. Like, should have been with us, man. Like something about them. Like I could have swore there's like a thrown away line about like they could have worked together at some point. Like we came up in the academy together, or whatever he says. Like something about them trained together, or whatever. I know him from wherever.
We trained together at tornado recruitment school.
Yeah, whatever. There's like a throwaway line about like, which is in every movie where there's an opposing team. Like we did something together, and then like he went this way and I went that way, man. Like, so you're mortal enemies because movie.
He's in it for the money, not the science.
He's trying to get the princess, dog. Like,
Yeah, sorry, he's trying to just get paid for his work. Mm-hmm. Not all of us have the passion to just live off of.
the Paxton passion.
Yeah, maybe he just wants to retire young. I'm more sympathetic to that angle now, and it's like, yeah, I would love to earn enough money I don't have to work till I die.
Yeah. Well, and he does work.
Until he dies.
Yeah, doing what he loved. So screaming in pain.
Which, Jesus Christ, why are they driving so close to that thing?
He gets straight up Children of the Corn too, like.
Yeah, and I love that they're just watching from, like, they can clearly see him go into the tornado and then get slammed down. Like, I think in reality he would just get lost. Like, you would not just see it anymore.
Yeah.
But again, why are they seem like they in their car are as close as I am to you to an F5 tornado.
Yeah, completely unaffected.
That is too goddamn close. Bill Paxton should have been like, turn away. He should be like, why are you so close? Get away from there.
Yeah. And then also shame on them for not like just stopping in the road and then like waiting for the tornado to get a little further ahead and then going and checking on Carrie Elways. Even though they're like, he's dead, man. Like, maybe not. Like,
Look, we got a job to do. He made his choice.
That's
He's in it for the money, not the science. We're here for the science.
that's some selfish shit, man. Like, if your neighbor, like if the tornado hit your neighbor's house, you just like look outside and be like, well,
Dead.
or like after the tornado dissipated,
I'm going to open the door, look, and go, well, we did all we could.
come out there. Hello. Shaun of the Dead style. Yeah. Hello.
Go get the camera, Ed.
Now look, Mary.
It's straight up movie logic, though. It's like something drastic happened. Like, he's dead. There's nothing he could do.
Better
He would
just
want
keep-
us to go on.
Yeah.
Jonas would want us to continue the journey.
Yeah.
For the real science and the money now.
We're the only ones now.
So, by that token, does he get your perfect execution?
You're gonna die, clown!
Perfect.
He was the logical choice, right? He was the one
Yeah.
that I was like, you know, he's the bad guy, air quotes. And then I just kept struggling with that. I kept going, I don't get the bad guy angle. So I don't feel like satisfied necessarily that he dies, and I don't feel like haha, that was a good one. But you already brought up the good one in this movie, the good kill that is absurd on all levels and is why we like popcorn movies, is the dad at the beginning just getting fucking yeeted out of the storm cellar.
I can't hold it anymore.
Yeah, RoboCop. He looks like RoboCop. Looks like Peter Weller. Just shoom, fucking gone.
He plays one of the dads in Varsity Blues.
Yeah, it's like
He's also like
is he
he's
the dad
in
in Deadly Friend? No.
No, he's the dad from Ready to Rumble.
Oh,
That's the cop.
yes. Okay.
He's
yeah.
that guy.
Nice. Yeah.
He's also he's the secondary cop in Friday the 13th 5.
Uh-huh. There you go.
So yeah, he's got a history with us. But yeah, he says I can't hold it. And I wonder how long he held onto that door once he flew off. Like, did he
That's the thing that's catching the air. You
yeah,
gotta
like
let go
is he
of it.
surfing this door all the way? Oh,
I'll get you, my pretty.
we found your dad in the door in the tree.
Yeah. Did they ever find him, or did he just?
No, that's one of that's
Oh, yeah, the
that's
tornado.
another podcast joke of like that's why Joe keeps looking up in the tornado. She's looking to see if Dad's still there.
It's like Bill going into the Barrens looking for Georgie. Like, no, motherfucker, he's gone. Like,
I thought you were saying the Pine Barrens are going to try to find that Russian.
oh well, yeah, that too.
He's
Yeah.
still somewhere in there.
Killed a bunch of interior decorators.
His house looked like shit.
Mix it with the relish.
I also gave the dad the,
You
the
have
perfect
to.
execution.
Who else? It's fucking hilarious. I know it's supposed to play on your heartstrings.
Yeah.
But even like 9, 10, 11-year-old me, whatever age I was when this came out, was like, nah.
Dog lives.
Bye. Yeah, if the dog got sucked out, we'd be having a different conversation. The
Yeah.
dog would have been the brown panty.
Yep.
But no, the dog survives, dies of old age.
Yeah, even Meg's dog is in the car at the very end of the movie. They wheel it out while they're just watching Paxton and Helen Hunt make out. They're
Yeah.
like, make sure the dog's out here so we can. Yeah, this dog lives.
Yeah.
No dogs hurt in any tornadic activity on this movie.
Absolutely not. That's where you lose your audience. And whoever, Universal or whoever made this, knew that. You can't kill the dog. It's a natural disaster movie. You can get away with killing dads, killing horny teenagers at the drive-in, whatever.
Anyone that's in the business for making money.
They gotta go, son. But keep your moral compass afloat or whatever. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but yeah.
Listen to your heart.
Yeah.
And,
Listen to your heart.
and the wind.
I don't want to get a copyright strike.
Don't sing that then.
But now that we're done with perfect execution, I mean, you brought it up. It is time to take a look at Walter Paisley's horror movie survival book and get us one tip on how to survive Twister.
There's a move that you must abide on every page if you don't wanna die. This ancient book will help keep you alive. So pay attention to the tips of how to survive.
Go listen to the wind and respect the wind.
Joe.
Which I think is one of the
I still love you, Joe.
2 custom songs that was put out on the soundtrack of this movie.
Was it Listen to Your Heart?
It was no.
I was like, no.
It was an instrumental, "Respect the Wind" by Van Halen, and this was the last thing Van Halen worked on before they had their infamous breakup.
Van Halen, not Van Hagar.
Yeah. So the instrumental that is playing in the end credits with all the cloud shots and shit.
Yeah.
That's "Respect the Wind" by Van Halen.
Okay.
And the other song is "Humans Being," which is what's playing when they're. It's what Dusty is playing
Through the speaker?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know that at all. I guess. I mean, you know the soundtrack. Did you own the soundtrack?
Oh no, I
No.
do have "Humans Being" on my YouTube playlist.
Nice. I wonder what the rest of the soundtrack was like. Was it just wind?
I'm not sure, but I know it was one of those. I feel like it was one of those last movies that had like a custom soundtrack and music done for the movie. Not something you get a whole lot of these days.
No, you don't.
You
That
get
was
music
really like a
that's already
80s to 90s thing for
yeah,
sure.
or shit that has the title of the movie in the song.
Mm-hmm.
Now you just pick music that sounds good in the movie that's
Pelican
already been
brief.
made.
It's getting legal up in here.
You gotta diversify your funds.
God damn it. Well, that's not a bad survival tip and or song title. So,
Yeah.
you know, kudos for them having a badass.
Breaking up Van Halen.
Yeah, they did it. It was all Twister's
Twister
fault.
did it. It wrecked shop, wrecked houses, destroyed Aunt Meg's home, and it said, "Van Halen, we're coming for you next."
That's right. Hulk Hogan, we coming for you.
Halen.
On that note, I suppose we'll move into that next segment. So let me just ask you, you do have a tie-in this week, correct, sir?
I have a tie-in.
All right, well, let's take a look at the tie-ins.
It's time for the tie-in. So many movies, so little time. You better pick yours before I pick mine. So watch a double feature. All monsters and creatures. It's a double feature. Oh, death.
Just a real quick recap for anyone new who's listening. The tie-in is not something that we do all the time, but maybe we're bringing it back. Maybe we're gonna hang on to it, keep it around.
It was something I fought for to get added in when we were doing the live streams.
Yep.
I thought that was just an interesting, just little avenue to go down. And once I got you sold on it, you wouldn't let it go.
It's a good one, and it's kind of integral to our genetic makeup of the 3B video. You know, so I will say this.
Double feature or death.
Yeah, you can go back if you're a member on this.
Only if you're a member.
Yeah, on this YouTube channel. Or if you're looking for us on YouTube, if you're just listening to us, it is The Deep Cut Podcast on YouTube. And if you become a member, any member tier gains you access to all these years and years of back catalog of us doing these live streams where we would do a 2-hour show breaking down movies.
It's only like 950 plus videos.
Oh, God.
Probably over 1,000 by this point.
There's so many that we cleaned up the channel, so we put a bunch of stuff for you to go back on. Members only. For as little as 99 cents a month, you can gain access to all these old conversations, which are
$12 a year.
really
No streaming service is that goddamn cheap.
No,
I
they're
can
not.
guarantee you.
But lots of good conversations, a lot of funny, off the cuff, and a lot of research that we did. But tie-ins originated there. And Evil, do you want to let the audience know exactly what the tie-in is, what it truly means, and then we'll give them some tie-ins.
It's double feature or death. You can't just do one movie if you're gonna do this. You normally got to do at least. We're Joe Bob drive-in mutants.
Yes.
It's always a double feature setup, and drive-ins are notorious for you don't just go for a movie, you go for at least two. And most of the time, you try to theme them together in some way, shape, or form.
True.
Sometimes they're not. It's not always a clear cut. Like that's why. But Sometimes it is.
Yep.
And my tie-in for this week, pretty obvious. I went with another natural disaster movie.
Okay.
It had a very strong competitor the exact same year.
Oh,
we
no.
have talked about them before, but I just totally dig Volcano.
How do you go wrong with Tommy Lee Jones versus Volcano?
In Los Angeles, you get to see Drew Carey's, TV show brother just melt in lava. Epic.
Yeah, which I think we did some science breakdown on that on the podcast here, because we did cover Dante's Peak / Volcano in like one of the third episode of this podcast.
Yes, because Dante's Peak really just rubbed you the wrong way with science.
It did, and we did some.
But you did learn a very hard to pronounce type of cloud.
The pyroclastic cloud.
Yes.
Yes, I did.
That's a throwback to an early show.
Wow, that's a deep cut to one of our deep cuts. Yeah, you got to go with that. That's a no-brainer. I was kind of angry at myself for not picking that. So
You can go with Dante's Peak. You can go with the other
I
volcano
wouldn't.
movie
I
in
wouldn't.
1997.
I wouldn't unless
I didn't
there was,
mind Dante's Peak.
No, I like it, but unless there was an R-rated cut where we got to see the Pierce Brosnan, Linda Hamilton sex scene.
We've already
with
had a sex scene for Pax to the Max.
up close hand gripping, which is a subreddit apparently.
Gripping with force.
Yeah, grip them with force. Mine's like super on the nose, bro. So, little nose candy. No, this is a tornado movie, and so I was like, you know what? At the time, when I was growing up, there was another tornado movie that was near and dear to my heart. That I think, in my opinion, is the pinnacle of tornado movies, even more so than Twister for me. And it's weird to say that because it's a direct-to-cable movie, a weird little movie based on a true story of some tornadoes that happened in Grand Island, which is relatively close to where we are, not super far. But I had family who lived in Grand Island when these actual tornadoes happened. So having a movie based on this was kind of like, hey, that happened to people. That happened to people I know. So that's super real. And so my tie-in, weird little Devon Sawa movie called Night of the Twisters.
I'm getting ready to meet Devon Sawa. Maybe I'll bring that up to him.
Dude, I've got it on VHS because, sidebar, that DVD is super hard to track down. But Night of the Twisters is a rad movie. Granted, it's got cable budget tornado CGI.
It's the deadly invasion of tornado movies.
Yes, but for the most part, we're keeping the tornado off screen, but we're dealing with the damage of the tornado and like the sounds of the tornado. And I'm trying to think, the dad in that movie is the dad from Smallville. I think.
I never watched that.
Thinking off the top of my head, I think that's who the dad is. But it's phenomenal, dude. Whole town's wrecked, and just feels like it belongs with Twister. You know, like you would start your day with your made-for-cable Night of the Twisters, and then you'd be like, well, you've watched the TV movie, now watch the Hollywood blockbuster. And yeah, on a nice rainy...
You've seen the rest, now see the best.
Yes, exactly. Start with cheap, end with expensive.
Mine could go either way. It doesn't matter if you want to start with Twister or you want to start with Volcano. Just have yourself a good destructive evening of us versus Mother Nature, and she always wins.
I'm gonna say this for you. Volcano, like noon, like early in the day, and then you go with Twister around dinner time, like 4 or 5. That's old man dinner, like 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening, when, especially in like late summer, early fall, because it's gonna start getting darker. So you got that chance for the sky to change color a little bit, and then you can watch it into sunset, which is kind of cool.
It's been a personal battle to get the wife to admit that dinner at 5 o'clock isn't necessarily a bad thing. I'm hungry. We just make food and eat it. It doesn't, like, who are we out to impress?
Well, and also
by either eating early or going to bed early. Nobody. We're not getting no achievement awards.
Yeah, I'm going to say this. 10 years ago, when you and I first started hanging out, 10, 11 years ago, whatever it was, we were staying up till 2, sometimes 3 in the morning. We're staying up late watching flicks and laughing and having a good time. And just last night, it's like 9:30. You and I are both like, we could call it.
I was like, we got about 40 minutes left.
Yeah,
It was definitely
winding down.
If it wasn't for other things we had to deal with, like it would have been 10:30 latest. But
Yeah.
we pushed it to about 11, and that was the cutoff time.
Yeah,
Added like getting shit ready, but I was like, we can go.
yeah. We are allowed to go to bed early. We're not like impressing anyone by staying up.
Well, I stayed up till 1:45 a.m.
Well, fucking congratulations. Yeah.
Suck it, youth.
Well, and for the most part, we are early risers.
Yeah, even though I try not literally every weekend, I'm like 10 o'clock.
I'm gonna sleep late.
till 10.
Shit, it was like 7:15 this morning. I woke up and I'm like, God damn it.
I was like, I can get up.
Yeah, I laid there I ended up coming down a little after 8, but enough of that old man. We sleep early shit.
We sleep.
I like to sleep, goddammit.
We live too.
It's that's an Evil Dead 2 reference, deep cut. But now that we're done with the tie-in, we'll move on to that second to last segment, Evil, which is what?
It's time for some Amazon 1-star review.
Hated it.
I also have a hard time believing there's some old fuddy-duddy out there who doesn't enjoy this movie.
This one, I had to read a couple times. I'm curious if there is a language
Oh, no.
gap.
It's translated?
No, not translated, but it's someone that is speaking English first, but I wonder what... it's from Island Girl on June 27th,
Island
2024.
Oh, 2024. Wow.
2024. So this past summer, Island Girl says, 1 star, good. Sorry, did I'd no buy. Must have movie, it's a good one.
First 5 minutes are pretty alright.
Good, sorry, did I'd no buy. Have movie, it's a good one.
I'd
no buy. Have movie, it's a good one.
Okay, so didn't buy it. Not a verified purchase. Already owned it. It's good. Here's my rating.
1 star.
Something is amiss.
There's a lot of something amiss with all of that.
Yeah, you messed up somewhere.
It sounds like Charlie from Always Sunny. He was like, "You should vote me. Good. I leave power. Thank you.
Why?
Thank you."
Was the Office thing, right? Why say many word when few words say same, or whatever the fuck it is.
I just see Charlie.
Yeah. Oh, that's ridiculous. Well, Island Girl. This
Island Girl.
I don't know why I was fucking doing the walk
That's
like
the
an
Egyptian.
Yeah. That's not an island.
Everything's an island if you look at it from the ocean.
Aha!
That makes a lot of sense.
Yes. All right. But I suppose on that note, we'll move on to the last segment of the show, Evil, which is what?
It's the prop game.
Woo!
It's all about the game and how you play it. Food, food, food.
That's Philip Seymour Hoffman lines right there.
Yeah.
And the Oscar goes to Philip Seymour Hoffman for his
Food.
portrayal of Dusty. Man. Now I'm just sad he's gone again. We just come full circle. And when I watched Red Dragon with...
And we get that cool scene where, it's when he's doing the dust, the greenish sky. It's both of them right there side by side. And, like, neither of these guys are here today.
I don't like that.
And they should be.
Yeah. Yep, that's bullshit. This bullshit, and now I'm sad. But on that note, it is time to play the game. And if you're new here, welcome. But you're probably scratching your head asking yourself, what's the game? The game is a deep cut in and of itself, where you have to pick a prop from the movie that we are covering, but it can't be a well-known prop. And since
Good luck.
We're covering Twister, maybe no CGI twisters, maybe no cow. Is that I don't know what's the Dodge Ram? Is that too low? Dorothy. I'd say Dorothy probably. Yeah, and that's even like question mark.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what you think of other than Dorothy, really, right? Dorothy's like
Dorothy and yeah, maybe cows, but
the Dorothy is, and if you look up Twister poster art, a lot of people who do like the minimalist poster art or whatever have like the Dorothy balls, or whatever. So
as the container, not even the spheres inside, just them.
So Dorothy is the crux of the movie. That's what they're fighting over. So I suppose that.
Yeah.
And even then, I'd probably accept it, but be weird, you know?
Yeah.
be a little more.
We're weird here. Be weird.
Yeah. Dig a little deeper, if you will, and let us know in the comments on the YouTube podcast. Let us know on Spotify, Podbean, all the other podcast apps if you're listening to us there.
Podcast, social medias, all that.
Yep. Find us and let us know, please, for the love of God, because it's our favorite thing. I'm going to say it every 2 weeks. This is our favorite thing to do. We do this all the time when we're bored. We love the prop game. We want you to be involved in the prop game with us.
Play the game.
Do it.
Don't make it a game over.
And it also lets us know you've listened to the end.
Yeah, you made it this far.
If you've listened to the end.
Prove it.
Yeah, prove it. Play the game. Prove it.
Not pick what we picked.
Yeah.
Then we know you didn't listen to it.
On that note, Evil, I am going to let you go first.
I want Dusty's barn burner.
The barn burner.
I do. I want the whole barn burner. I love he's got a TV set up that just blares the music. Whatever he was deciding to play, he's just the soundtrack for the Storm Chasers. I mistreat you, girl. Just give me the barn burner. It's awesome. And I'm sure he probably has weed stashed all over that thing too.
That's not bad.
Dusty's drugs are just somewhere under something hidden in there.
That's why they call me Red, man.
I'm immune. That's why he's wearing those goggles and shit. Oh,
God. Yeah,
he's just hotboxing. That's why it's the barn burner.
Dude, he's like a very, I don't want to say like eccentric character, but like he's got a lot going on. You know what I mean? Like
he's never not on.
Yeah, he's entertaining. He isn't just a person filling a role.
His wardrobe alone, he has like a weird button shirt,
like a Hawaiian type shirt.
Yeah, and then like an almost like Native American like sweater, like wool sweater kind of thing over it, and like an Oklahoma University hat that doesn't quite fit too great, and always like, oh, thank you, sweetheart.
Yeah,
hugging, this manly handshaking soon. Always got something to say in a slick way of saying it. Taking the vows, that's sweet, man.
Yeah.
Never a bad mood. Like, take a peek. You can really see it with a telephoto lens. You people are crazy. What?
He's so fun. Yeah. It's a goddamn shame. Now I'm sad all over again because I'm having a good time and then I get sad. That'd be a cool way to let his memory live on, too, because you could have a picture frame, like a picture of him in the barn burner.
Yeah, I would.
Yes.
Just him, like, with his goggles on, talking about the suck zone.
That's good, dude. I like that.
Where I sit in the chair, that'll be the suck zone because he has that straw for whatever the fuck he's drinking. Like,
yeah.
I'll have this like suck zone where the straw is.
I love it. Not bad at all. Mine, I feel. I mean, it's not.
Is it 8 coffees to go?
It's not
8
low hanging fruit, but I feel like I need an airplane hanger, because I want the Crooked House set. Because I've seen that exact same behind-the-scenes
you saw
footage.
Bill Paxton having fun? You're like, I want to have the kind of fun Bill Paxton's having.
Well, listen, you pay to go to, like, Branson, Missouri or whatever, and you can go into, like, an upside down house or whatever.
Yeah.
Like you can go do these things.
I could charge money for people to do it here.
But owning it allows you to have a place to shoot. And it's much like wanting like a revolving room from like Elm Street,
Yeah.
The amount of things that we'd be able to do by procuring that and not necessarily having the budget. Like if we were somehow able to just have it, I'd shoot I'd be like Lloyd Kaufman with that car flip that he puts in every movie. I'd be like, I had to pay for this.
The same soundtrack in
Yeah.
every movie, the same score on every movie.
I am using the fuck out of my rotated house.
My
Like,
money will be
Yeah.
used wisely on the amount of usage.
Yes. So I want that crooked house.
I like neither of us picked anything small or like give me a vehicle, give me a house.
Yeah, I want the whole fucking house, which means I need a whatever back lot, airplane hangar, wherever.
Your whole backyard's another house.
Just raining. It's open.
Well, the foundation's on the roof, so
Yeah. Yeah, I need me that fucking crooked house in the world's worst way.
It sounds like a good horror movie title, The Crooked House.
Yes. I'd watch it. I mean, they made the
Yeah.
Glass House. I never saw that, but
I saw the previews. That's the closest I got.
I think I own it.
Probably. You own White Noise, too.
I sure do. But on that note, I suppose we should probably get going because, after all, there's a lot of movies out there and somebody's got to watch them. So why not us, right?
Honey, this is a tissue of lies. See, there was another Bill, an evil Bill, and I killed him.
Thank you for listening to the Deep Cut Podcast. There's a new episode every 2 weeks. Fun. You can find it on Spotify and all major podcast apps. Don't forget to let us know your topic. Every 2 weeks, there's a new episode. So rate us and subscribe to the Deep Cut Podcast. There's a new episode every 2 weeks. Fun, yeah. You can find it on Spotify and all major podcast apps. Don't forget to let us know your topic. Every 2 weeks, there's a new episode. So rate us and subscribe to the Deep Cut Pod, to the Deep Cut Pod. You can find it on Spotify and all major podcast apps. Don't forget to let us know your topic. Every 2 weeks, there's a new episode. So rate us and subscribe to the Deep Cut Pie. To the Deep Cut Podcast. To the Deep Cut Pod, to the Deep Cut Pod. To the Deep Cut Pod, to the Deep Cut Pod. 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 To the Deep Cut Podcast. To the Deep Cut Podcast. To the Deep Cut Pod. 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 To the Deep Cut Podcast. To the Deep Cut Pod. To the Deep Cut. To the Deep Cut Podcast. To the Deep Cut Podcast. To the Deep Cut Podcast. Every 2 weeks, there's a new episode. So rate us and subscribe to the deep cut pike. 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 To the deep cut pike.